Well, hello, my darling doves. My name is Al. Welcome to Cinephial. This is the channel where I'm going to be talking about film, about books, about TV. I don't know, probably other stuff. I'll probably end up making video essays that nobody watches. But in this video today, what I'm going to be talking about is all the movies I watched in June. And there were so many, so I should probably start actually talking about them. The first movie I watched in June was actually a rewatch of June 2021, and it was so much better on a rewatch that I was actually flabbergasted. I remember coming out of this movie the first time being like, I do not get the hype behind that. I was Zendaya baited. I feel scammed. I still thought it was fine. Like, objectively, as a film, I was like, there are really cool things happening here. You made me care about sand. I hate sand more than Anakin Skywalker. So I was like pretty invested, honestly. But I also was like, that was kind of a snooze fest, you know? Okay, on a rewatch, I could hear so much more. I think not being able to hear it in the theater, like, that dialogue is very important, and I did not hear half of it, so that definitely helped. But also, I think I was just having a terrible day in that theater, like, the first time I saw it. So watching it in a better mood was definitely, you know, it lended itself in the favor of the movie, so yeah, it was very good on a rewatch. Then I watched one of my most anticipated releases from last year called Burning Days, and basically it's a Turkish film that I've been wanting to watch for over half a year, and I think it was absolutely worth the wait, which is so exciting. It's about like a young prosecutor who gets assigned to this really small isolated town where there's a water crisis happening and political corruption running rampant, and it basically shows how paranoia and gossip work in a small town. And also it had like queer rep, which was great, but I would definitely look up content warnings before you watch this one, as I would any movie, to be honest. But this one in particular. And anyways, basically I loved it, and I'm so glad I finally found a way to watch it. Okay, so next I saw Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, and it was an absolute joy of animation, okay? If you're feeling superhero burnout like I am, it's worth going to see this one. I love a Marvel movie as kind of a palate cleanser, little piece of candy that I can chew up, and it's sweet, it's enjoyable, I like it. Lately, though, they felt like they've been wasting my time. This absolutely does not feel like that. It does end on a cliffhanger, but it doesn't feel like, oh, this is just here to lead up to the huge climactic thing that 6 other movies are also setting up. Like, this feels earned. And it is stunning. Like, it's worth it alone just to go see the animation, but the plot is actually fun. I love all the new characters we met, and as a viewer, I felt respected. Okay, and then after a string of amazing movies, I watched Bumblebee because my brother wanted to, and I did not like this at all, so I don't have much to say. I was kind of actually baffled with how bad some of the acting performances were in this, and I really don't want to talk about it. Some of the set designs were neat, but that's about it, so moving on. After that, I wanted to refresh myself, so I was like, let's watch one of my favorite movies. So I put on Nope 2022, and it's like one of, if not my favorite movie from last year. I love Jordan Peele, but this film in particular is just a masterclass that I think was absolutely snubbed from award season, particularly because it's a sci-fi and horror mashup, and it just makes me so angry that it got completely discounted because of that. But anyway, Kiki, Daniel, Brandon, they're all insane in this movie. Like, I've never fallen in love with a main trio more in my life. I think the chemistry was off the charts. I believed them. I believed that they were like siblings and like newfound family almost. I also love the rural settings. I live in a very rural area, and the details in the set design, from like the vintage dining ware to like the outdated but like functional technology, was everything to me. MOJ and Angel are 3 of my favorite characters of all time, and I wish we could get a sequel to this, even though I know that kind of contradicts the entire contemplation of the film, but I love them. Moving on, next I watched Little Shop of Horrors. It was pretty good. I'm glad I watched it, and I loved the practical effects. I'm a big practical effects guy. Overall, I'm not obsessed with this, but I get why people are. Then I watched Missing, and I actually really liked this. Sometimes I get worried about tech-heavy plots in movies, especially these days, especially when the main characters are younger protagonists, but I think this handled it really well, and I was so incredibly pleased to see technology being used competently and accurately for once. Like, everything our main character did, I was like, yes, this is exactly what I would do. So basically she's trying to track down her mom and her mother's boyfriend who go on vacation, and they don't come home when they're supposed to, and she ends up having to try to figure out what's going on. I think some bits were a little bit extreme, but it did have some plot twists that I actually didn't see coming, which is kind of rare for me these days, so I have to give props for that. It was a nice way to spend a few hours. If you have Netflix, give it a shot, I guess. Then I checked out Catherine Called Birdy, and I was really expecting to just kind of put this on the background while doing stuff, but I got pretty sucked in pretty quickly, and like, okay, look, I don't think this is objectively amazing or anything, and I don't think everyone is gonna love this, but I actually really enjoyed my time watching this, and I think, like, 12 to 15-year-old me would have been obsessed with this, so in a way, I am obsessed with this. It has an off-kilter dialogue, plot, humor mashup that I really loved, and Bella Ramsey, like, they absolutely steal every scene that they're in, and they're just so good in this, and I think it really proves that they have quite the versatility, because Bella was, like, great at acting, but they're also, like, funny. Comedic acting is hard, and I thought that they absolutely nailed it. Next, I watched BlackBerry, and it was perfectly decent. I didn't love it. I also did not hate it. I feel like a certain crowd are going to love this one a lot, but I thought it was, like, a good time. It's not amazing, but I get it. I think it's probably going to have a lot of hype around it for award season, and I unfortunately like NHL hockey, so I thought the hockey jokes were funny. Next, I'm going to lump together kind of 3 movies because I watched them on a trip with some of my friends in Pittsburgh. So basically, I rewatched Brokeback Mountain, Shrek 2, and Tangled. They're all great for very different reasons. And shout out to Deshna, who had never seen Brokeback before. Handled it way better than I did the first time. Okay, then, next I watched Mile XXL, which is the second in the trilogy, and it was actually so fun. It's by far the best of the 3. Spoiler alert, I've seen all 3 at this point. I love the bestie energy we were getting. It was a good romp. Like, if you want a good romp, watch this movie. Okay, so then I went to the drive-ins to celebrate my birthday with some friends, and the 2 movies they were showing were Elemental and Little Mermaid. I didn't include Carl's Date, the short before Elemental, in this, but I hated it. I think we need to let that man live in peace. In my notes, I said, I know he's not real, but somehow I feel like we are exploiting the trauma of an old man. That's my peepaw, okay? Leave him alone. And I think I stand by that. Elemental was fine. I liked it more than I thought I was going to based on the trailer, but I really didn't care for it that much. I'm kind of sick of metaphors in kids' films. I think we kind of just need to be, like, more explicit with some of the stuff we're trying to say. Like, I get why, but I'm, like, kind of tired of it. Then the live-action Little Mermaid was actually really refreshing. I have not cared for any of the live-action remakes, and I did not care for the underwater animation in this, and that dropped it down at least a star, if I'm honest. I thought it looked really wonky, and, like, for a movie that has such a big budget, what was going on there? All the stuff on the surface looked great. I thought the acting on the surface was great. Again, the acting underwater, it felt like nobody was actually interacting with each other. Like, the acting was very green screen, disconnected. So yeah, I definitely didn't care for that. I thought the scene was amazing. And the ending kind of felt a little rushed, despite how long it was for a movie targeted toward a young audience. But I still enjoyed it, so... Okay, so on my actual birthday, I spent the entire day in a theater, and first movie I watched was Asteroid City. It's the latest release from Wes Anderson. I love Wes Anderson. Wes Anderson is my favorite director. Can you see where I'm headed with this? I loved this movie. I have, like, a ridiculously long Letterboxd review about this, but I think it's really fun on a surface level, but once you dig in a little deeper, there's a lot of commentary about, like, Anderson's own work as a creative, and I loved it. I will be purchasing it as soon as it comes out on a physical copy. And then Past Lives felt like a roller coaster. It was a really lovely exploration of immigration and culture and who you are to people and the place that you left behind, and if you ever really leave anything behind once you leave a place, like maybe it lives within you in some kind of way. Its central theme is basically, if you leave something behind, you gain something else, and I thought this was just a phenomenal feature-length debut, and the acting was astounding. I would not be surprised if this gets Oscar buzz. I hope it does. It left me feeling kind of raw, but like fully pleased with everything that happened. So if you have the chance to see either of these two in theaters, please go do it. Later that night, I rewatched The Social Network because I miss Andrew Garfield. Okay, the next day I saw Asteroid City again in theaters, this time with my brother, and he liked it, which was a good thing, because if not, I would have had to find another ride home. Basically, to sum up the vibes of the movie, after both screenings, an old man was like, well, that's a little weird. And if that sounds like a thing, please go see it. And finally, the last movie I saw in June was Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. Controversially, I think that this was fine. Like, I really don't understand why people did not like this, especially when Crystal Skull is right there. I think some emotional bits didn't quite hit as hard as they could have if we had more time to sit with them. That's just how blockbusters are these days, unfortunately. I'm glad we ended where we ended overall with this character. Thanks for watching. I hope you found a new recommendation to check out. If you like this, make sure to thumbs up, subscribe, and let me know in the comments your favorite June watched. Thank you. I love you. Goodbye.